Down there, good. Yeah, I do.
Like I know one feedback that you gave me this week was
Hey ladies, I'm gonna come over there. You're not gonna like it. That has to be on camera. She goes like, you know me well.
reality
All right.
was to keep a list of things that I needed to do. You know, like catch up stuff or like check on this student's paper or whatever. So
Hey.
we started that. Well, actually, I had post-it notes. Post-it notes here. Yeah, they're not even there. I don't even know where they are.
Well, yeah,
I wrote them. I went through it and I wrote it. This is where I just started my little.
It's just I find it easier because like things come up so quick and often throughout the day that like trying to be. You see how it is? It's crazy. You don't have time to even think. Like, and so many new issues and stuff pop up. So that's what helps me. Otherwise, I totally forget. So I created my little to-do list. So okay, good. That's good. Hopefully, I think it makes me calmer.
Yeah.
It relieves stress.
Yeah.
You know, just to just have a list going that you can cross off. Okay, I did this. Cool. I like the lesson. Students are doing really well. Students really like you. That's clear. Even though they're annoying,
I don't know
they
them
don't shut up.
as well as I normally know my students. So it's kind of weird for me, but I'm glad that that's your perception.
Yeah, no, that's clear. They're doing well on the personal statements. For the most part, they're working. For the most part. The only thing that I love that you individually conference with them, because that's part of, you know, that's advanced editing process, which they need, they really like, they get a lot from that. So that was so cool. It's just there's always a weird dynamic because when a teacher does that, then the rest of the class can screw around.
I know.
And there's no easy way to control that. The only thing I do is, you know, use proximity. So get up and walk around. Like it's kind of like a shark because they just feel that pressure a little bit more. And you can do that less and less because they're, you know, and when you catch them doing something, then, you know, you act on it and then it just sets the tone that the expectation is high, the expectation is that they're supposed to be on task. And that's their responsibility. So I find that that's really the only way to do that effectively from my experience. There are other ways too, creative ways that you could do it, but we also don't have access to look at all their Chromebook screens.
Right.
So if they're you know, if they have Chromebooks like that, we have no idea what they're doing.
Right.
So they could be shopping on Amazon like Gabriella was, or Daniel was looking at cars, and I'm like, cool, nice essay. Like what year?
Yeah.
You know?
Gabriella was checking out the ideas.
Yeah. So. You know, they'll do that. It's normal. So that's why I do just, you know, a walk around every so often when I can, at least in between conferences with students or something. And then they feel a little bit scared. So it's gentle pressure, but they get the point. Yeah. Oh, I had an idea for Daniel. So what I did initially is I designed my own lesson lesson plan template. And I know you're required to use the Teach Now one, or you have to use the same components. Right?
Yeah.
Can you add components?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, that's what I used to do is when I lesson plan. Girls, don't you have something you should be doing?
I think she distracted me.
I know, Alondra, shouldn't you not be here at all? Good Lord. She's lucky she's an A+ student. Get the hell out of here, go home. Is your mom here? Yeah. Okay, good.
She's like, I'll take it back. Alright, bye.
Have a nice weekend. Be safe. Don't do anything cray-cray. Alright.
You going with us tonight? Yeah, I'm gonna. Here?
Bye. Bye. Thank you. Problem literally kicked her out. Now you have no excuse. Your distraction just left.
You're my distraction.
Oh, not anymore. Shut up. Sit down. All right. Oh, that's right. So he, you know, sometimes that's going to happen when students fall through the cracks a little bit. And it's difficult, especially when setting up lessons that require so much individual attention, to pay attention to everyone, right? It's really hard. So I thought, okay, what's a better way to just remember how to handle these special students who are on the list? And I thought, when designing lesson plans, to add a box for that list.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you can just go, oh, okay, like,
For
wait a
the
minute, this is
student, I
not
need to
going to
do
work
this.
because he needs this accommodation.
That's a really good idea.
Right, so I was, because it's easy to, in the whole, like, this crazy environment, whatever, you know, everybody's like, Ms. Moore, Ms. Moore, Ms. Moore, right? You don't have time to think about, you know, what that kid who's not saying anything needs, when he may need the most.
That seems to be the case a lot.
Yeah, so, so I thought that might be an easier way for us to just go, okay, we need to, you know, someone needs to pay attention to this kid, or, at least in the back of your head, then you could look at their names and come up with some different type of plan, or adjust it, you know.
Right, okay.
Yeah, he's very behind on the assignment, but yeah, he's just not, I want to see what's going to happen when he's away from the group, because he responded well today when we talked to him on
And
this.
he wrote a really good paragraph, the nature writing thing. Like, I'm like, oh, okay. Because I really hadn't seen much out of him at all.
Yeah, I know, and he's sitting with 3 people who are academically on top of their game, and distracting him, so we'll see what happens next week. Hopefully that'll help him.
Do you ever do seating charts? Like, do you set up and say, this is just not?
I've done it only once with one class, a long time ago, because that was a class straight from hell. But those kind of those students, I had that discussion with you recently. They're no longer allowed in our school because they now are doing criminal checks and stuff like that. So these were some hardcore, yeah, and the crowd was just especially kind of crazy. But I don't, because I don't think it's respectful to them.
Okay.
This is a unique school. We're trying to do things in a more innovative way. I feel like that's kind of.
And they're older.
They're older. They're adults, and I don't want to treat them like children. And I don't think they feel respected if they, you know. So I don't. You have teachers who do. You know, the administration's policy is basically it's up to us teachers what we want. I just don't agree with it.
I've never been much of a fan. But younger, I can see, next door she does. She wanted me, like, to introduce it and put him in. Like, it wasn't like that the day before, but then I was there and she wanted me to, and I'm like, I had to do sorry, I didn't feel comfortable.
Yeah,
I told them.
She shouldn't have tasked you with that.
I told them that they were,
class.
that it was coming, because they asked something about it. I said, yeah, it's written up, and I said, you guys aren't going to be sitting here tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think she should have done that. That's fine.
Yeah.
She wanted you to do the dirty work for her.
I don't know if it was that or just the timing. I don't know what it was. Like, if she said, okay, I'm going to do it tomorrow, and then she wanted to follow through. I don't know, but anyway, I didn't do it, so I was rebel and thought it just didn't feel right to me. So I just
Yeah, no, that's okay. You shouldn't do things that don't feel right. What's your opinion about it?
About seating charts? I kind of hold the same one that you do, you know, because I've really never been a fan, even with younger students, but I've never done, not element, I haven't done elementary school. I mean, I have, but I didn't stick with it. But for high school, I just feel like, gosh, they're just.
She's right here.
They're just so, hey. She's just so good.
Have a great weekend. You too.
Yeah, I never thought of it in quite the same way, but it's just more of a, gosh, they're just kind of old for that, and it's kind of maybe learning through the school of hard knocks, like, this is not working, make a better decision, this seat is not working for you.
Well, exactly. See, thank you. And that's really supportive of them having high expectations for themselves and needing to self-manage. Because they're not going to be in environments after this where people tell them where to sit.
Right.
You know, So I don't think, in a way, I don't think it's fair for them. So that's a really good point. And another reason why, yeah, I too don't agree with it, because they need to learn how to behave and be successful no matter what. So if, but you saw what I had to do today. It's like, all right, you need to move because this, like, it's not working for you. You're being distracted. So, but I didn't do it in a like you're being punished type of way. I was like, look, like you need that high school diploma. This is not working for you. Let's try and move you to another table and see what happens, right? So it's all about how you word it too, right? Which you're really good at anyway. So
Sounds like he is so behind that he feels overwhelmed, but he doesn't self-advocate.
no,
Which I know is, I see it's common.
it is very common. It's very frustrating as a teacher because you can't read minds,
Right.
you know. So it just takes a lot of extra checking in and stuff, which gets hard. Like I said, when you're so busy.
Yeah,
And then you go, oh crap, that whole class went by and I didn't even check on that kid because you have 10 other issues that pop up. And that's okay. It's okay. Like you're not Superwoman. But then I always try to develop little tricks for myself, like the one I told you about, write the IEP list into the lesson plans so that it's easier to remember, or write to-do lists. Things like that are really good tools in this high stress environment. Such a good time for a meeting. Anyway,
it's just kind of like this, Maureen.
welcome
This
to
is
the
actually
floor.
mellow.
And here's another guest. Hello.
Hi, Maureen.
Hi.
You want to come get on the camera? That usually deters them.
Yeah, it was really good. Oh, one thing that I would recommend to help you is if you want something turned in, any assignment, what I usually do is pull up a blank Word document and reflect it onto the whiteboard.
Okay.
And write down, this is due today by the end of class, or this is due tomorrow. And it's really easy. It doesn't take a lot of time investment for several reasons. Number one, it takes care of differentiation. There are verbal and nonverbal and visual learners, so that is, I think, important to get the point across. Especially in a chatty environment, if you don't feel cut, like, I'm a little bit crazy when they talk when I'm talking, so I lose my, excuse my French, I lose my shit. And they know.
What is she going to say besides shit? I don't know.
Yeah. And don't swear like your teacher.
Oh, yeah. How do you think we learned it?
Hey, that's not true. I never swear. Please edit that out of the video.
We already have some instances. We have the outside activity. I haven't edited that yet, though.
Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, it'll help you out. It'll help them out. Otherwise, then sometimes they'll just zone out.
It totally makes sense. Even I really appreciate that. And just looking up and going, okay, I know exactly what's expected of me today.
Because they zone out and they don't hear you.
And I did it on some of my earlier ones, like it would be there, but then sometimes things shift, and then it's like, okay, like what you say you do is you go up and just write it up, throw it up there.
Yeah, you don't even have to, it's not, it's like an on-the-fly thing. Yeah. And then I do it in huge text. I don't, I don't embed it in any, like, planning documents I have or lesson plans.
By itself.
It's too much. Yeah, just that. And, like, I'll even highlight it in red, and I'm like, everybody look up right now. Like, now you have no excuse, because you all saw this, you all heard it. And unless you're deaf and blind, there are no excuses, you know what I mean? And it helps you get assignments. It really does. Because, like, that, for the college report thing,
yeah, see, there's something funky there.
You have to always question, like, okay, shoot, like, was I not clear enough about this assignment being turned in? So then I wouldn't necessarily fault a class and reduce their grades for that being late, but rather, you know, go, hey guys, like, I know you heard me, or if you didn't, you probably were not listening, but this assignment was due. So I'm going to, you know, and quickly write it on the board and be like, so you have to do that tonight as homework and turn it in tomorrow. Then they have no excuse. So it's just, it covers everything.
Okay.
That I learned a while back too. It's a good little trick. Yeah,
You gave me the managing the learning environment. You gave me the tip earlier, like I had tried last week. I tried to have them self-manage the Chromebooks, and you're like, you know, that's probably not the best plan. So then we've been having a student do it.
Yeah. Yeah, and use them. Like, that helps them too, gives them responsibility. They like it. That's a big responsibility to have, to manage a Chrome card, and to be responsible to make
I
sure.
didn't even tell you. I didn't want to upset you. It's all fine.
So
I'm out there. I'm out there doing copies, printing, whatever. And when I was in that whole like, I lost my assignment. And
Crazy
I'm trying to,
mode.
like,
Yeah, things get hectic.
I looked down and I'm like, what the? It's a Chromebook. I picked it up. I'm like, I know that's one of ours. Pick it up. Yep, sure enough.
It was outside.
It was at the copy machine on one of the trays. And then like 5 minutes later, Nico comes around the corner. Oh my God, I just remembered I had it on my Chromebook.
Poor thing.
Oh my God, I'm like, it's okay, it's right here. I know, he was fine, he was fine. So,
Poor thing.
I
Yeah,
said,
I
I wondered about that, because I had moved it and set it on the counter. I'm like, I'm gonna bring it back, and I said, no, I'm not even sure what's on Miss P. I think I'm just gonna put it back.
What's Miss P gonna do? Miss P doesn't get mad. Not for that stuff.
Anyway,
That's nobody's
it was
fault.
fine. Yeah,
That's
it was
nobody's
fine.
fault. Things like that happen. God, I would never get mad about anything. I just don't get,
And then I
get mad at administrators.
Yeah.
So it's just the only. Bye, Steven. Thank you. Have a good weekend. The only issue is that make sure a student is taking care of it and right before class ends, because a few Chromebooks were
That's
from
the other
another
thing is I
teacher.
gotta watch the clock and.
Right, and that teacher did get, you know, in trouble with administration. So I don't want that to happen to you or anybody else, to be put in that position. So I would just try to, we can even come up, like, instead of an alarm, I could bring, like, I have a timer too.
Good idea.
Timers are really good. You can assign a
That would be
student
really good
to
for
be a
me.
time watcher.
Yeah.
Hey, you know, who wants to be time watcher? So this is your job duty. Can you set an alarm on your phone right now? You're allowed to use a phone because you're the time watcher.
Okay.
So set a phone on your iPhone, or set an alarm on your set a phone. That's right. Set an alarm on your iPhone, and you know, for whatever 10:27, because then we have exactly 5 minutes to collect Chromebooks. You know, another thing is I would reiterate that. Well, what I usually do is incorporate exit tickets right before dismissing a class. And if you get them into that habit, they know that they can't line up at that door, because that gets on my nerves when they're like trying to bounce before the bell. And that's why I joke with them. I'm like, you know, there aren't Playboy bunnies or like hot construction workers out there. So who you like? You're just like in a race to get to signs. Like, come on. You know what I mean?
Bell to bell instruction.
Right. So, and it's hard to do with this crowd because they are antsy, but. You can also trick them. Okay,
I think they know.
I have these replies from movies.
So you can say, okay, put your Chromebooks away, and then you need to sit down because I have a special announcement about tomorrow. So sometimes I'll do that. I'll just, okay, here's what we're going to do tomorrow. What did you guys learn today? It's really good. It's really good strategy to do that too, to get them to go over what they learned. Okay, what did you learn? Like, or what did you like about this? It's also a good reflection for myself too. Okay, did you guys? I see that some of you really weren't into this lesson, huh? No, Miss P, this was boring. Okay, like now I'll know to change it for next time. Or you know, it's really a good time to get feedback from them, and that covers a ton of teaching strategies too. Just having that quick check conversation. I also do a lot of it by paper. Okay, list 3 things that you learned like you saw what I did today. 5 things you learned in this documentary, and any questions you have on GMOs. So those are really good. What?
Nothing.
Did you not do that?
I only know 3 things that I meant. I didn't know those questions down what we learned.
And that wasn't a requirement. It was only if you had questions about
I went to
GMOs.
sleep in class, that's how
I saw that.
We saw it.
And I was trying to get you.
I've never seen it before, so first I'm like, well, there's probably a good reason, and I'm like, okay, I guess I should say something.
Yeah. I've never seen you do that. Anyway. So those are kind of good tricks too, to get them to just.
Yeah, I like that.
It looks really militant, but it actually is not.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's really kind of a gentle way of just getting them to. You know, it's bell-to-bell instruction, and getting them to, you know, they're used to then that. Okay, someone's in charge of collecting Chromebooks, and there's a timekeeper. You know, okay, now Miss Moore's going to give us updates, or give us an assignment, or, you know, reflect, or make us do a little write-up, or something like that. And then I tell them, all right, like, sometimes I'll push them, like, to the minute, like 1 minute before the bell rings. I'm like, get out a piece of paper, write me down one fact about this. And then they're like, oh my God, okay. And so they're like silent, like, oh shit, like the bell, right? They're writing, I'm like, and as you walk out, like, hand it to me, right?
Yeah.
So there are all these, like, cool little ways to do things, right?
Yeah, one thing I was thinking of is because I have them write down the lesson, the objective, and then I'm starting to have them write down big ideas. And I was thinking maybe tie in at the end that same piece of paper and write what I learned. If it matches. Like, did this objective match?
Oh, that's an excellent thing to do. Really, really good thing to do. That's how
Maybe
you
say, like, what I learned in my own words, and did the objective get that for the objective?
Yeah, I mean, that's assessment for you, and that's amazing. As much feedback as you can get from students regarding that is going to be the highest quality, because they are the clients. When I came in, I did that from the beginning, and it has been incredible. Like, that gives you the information, the data to really design courses. Have a nice weekend. Design courses that address standards really well, that are culturally relevant, that students like, so your classroom's going to be engaging, the lessons are going to be good. So yeah, anything you could do like that is going to be super. It's like the best information you'll get, not from administration.
And I'm still sort of stuck on this idea of, like, I just don't know how they organize themselves. Like, I just put myself in their shoes, and I think it would be
Have a
like
nice weekend, be safe.
So I do like the journal idea of them, like, putting that in, like, you know, personal statements lesson, and like having all that stuff together. But then you have the challenge of
slideshow
being able to check it and grade it, and like, I think it seems like you found it easier if you have, like, just to have them turn something in, and then it's like done, you've got it. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, that's. Oh, you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. The other day when you wanted to check from the note taking.
That I learned from. I'm trying to think if I did the reflection on that one already. I don't know if I would have yet. Was that last week or this week? I don't even remember. I think it was last week. But yeah, that one I definitely learned from. Like, you can't. You're gonna have mayhem.
It is, yeah. So that's. It's cool. You could do those walk arounds. You gotta be careful with the timing. The timing is key then.
Right.
So you can never do it at the end of a class, because
And
you
they have to
will
have
for
something to
sure
do.
run out of. Yeah. And then exactly. So it becomes a little bit more complex, but so you gotta, you just schedule those checkups, walk arounds when they're working, and then you could do it. But do it at the beginning or middle, because at the end it's stressful on you.
Right. Yeah.
Because you're like, oh my God, I'm not even through half the class, and then you got to deal with, is this fair if I continue this tomorrow?
That's when, you know, you get the classes over and I'm all harried and
Yeah.
like, oh my God, is it lunchtime?
And it stresses, it stresses you out. So But, you know, if it's easier to just collect something, then that's why I was like, no, like, just collect it, because you want to eliminate that stress. Just, shoot, like, I can't get this done, and, you know, it's going to screw things up. So for notes, a lot of the times, I'll just collect them, and then just like, okay, you know, easy participation, make sure that people are just participating, and that's it.
Think about it, because how
Bye,
I
Miss
did it,
B. You guys have a great weekend.
You too.
how I did it, last school I was at, was they had those journals, those, whatever they're called, college, those black and white ones.
Oh, the composition ones.
Composition, yeah. And so everybody had their own, and the school gave them to us, and so then I would every day I would check them. It was like a part of their participation score. But they were middle school students, and they did not have, there was like no, everything was kept at the school. So I just had, each class was piled, you know. So it worked in that environment. I just don't know, like here, these guys bring their own stuff. Like I've hardly ever had anybody even ask me for a pencil. It's so foreign to me.
Oh, this was an older case.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, the third one? That's okay. Probably fell on the floor or something.
I know, but go in that drawer underneath where my purse is next to the fridge, the top one.
Oh, yes.
Thanks, Dalva.
And it's in something on the right.
Your hair looks awful. Your hair looks better than mine, and you wish better than mine.
No, your hair looks great. You got it?
Yeah.
What helped?
The idea of journals and if it could work or not.
So, this
Is it any value add?
What else? It's cool, although there's so many different there are so many different things to consider when doing this. But remember how I mentioned it would be so cool if they could keep digital journals?
Oh, I don't remember that.
Oh, did I not say that aloud?
Well,
It could have been
it
my
might have been a
head,
while
so-
ago, and I don't remember. I don't know.
I'm dealing with like 10,000 ideas how I want to, you know, change things and stuff like that, make it way more tech
Oh, wow. That was like
based because it's good for them. They need more skills. But so I was like, how cool would it be if they had an online journal for note taking? That way we can go in at any time and go, oh, you haven't been doing anything for a week? Cool. Like there's going to be discussion tomorrow. Or
Have a good weekend.
you too, have fun, be safe, don't do anything cray-cray.
I'm gonna do something crazy. It's my birthday tomorrow.
It's
It
your birthday?
is?
And we
Yeah.
turning up tonight, what you mean?
Birthday. Happy early birthday.
What? Adios.
Bye.
Drunk.
Hey, drunk off of life, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Lots of
Also-
bananas and drink Gatorade. That's
And
what
milk.
taught me.
After you
And
don't
grapes.
get drunk.
Yeah.
Anyway.
There was a whole drug conversation going on, which I am so used to from my other school, but I haven't heard much of that here. I don't hear stuff about drugs here that much, and I don't hear anything about gangs. I don't hear anything about gangs.
Oh, we got rid of them. We booted them out.
Yeah.
We had a really bad gang problem. It used to be totally different. Completely different. We've gotten really strict. We have a lot of the same kids here, though, who just learned that shit's not
Right.
going to fly anymore.
Right. They just need
So
to
this-
keep it to themselves.
Yeah, the school had, like, that's why I get irritated when, you know, one of our administrators comes in and she's like, oh, these are great kids, like, it's easy. It's like, no, oh, you forget who made this easy. Like, teachers made it easy for you to come in and think that everything's been great. Like, who had to up their behavior, who had to manage them. This group of teachers were like, we all came together. We did a lot of, last year we did a lot of managing problem students. We would have these meetings. We called them interventions, and we would intervene with, did I say that correctly? Yeah, with these students, and just Dalva was one of them, Gigi was one of them. Oh yeah, we took care of so many. We were like, this is not gonna continue. Well, you got choices. You got to think about this. And, like, all the teachers would show up, and we would just go at it. And that was without administration. So, yeah, hard work. But, yeah. Yeah, the teachers were Oh, yeah, so the digital, so maybe, I don't know, maybe you want to think about that too, some sort of digital notebook. I know we were talking about, it would be cool if we had Google Classrooms. David, when he was helping, I don't know if you heard him say, like on Google Classrooms, you can upload the documents.
Okay.
And stuff like that.
I set up a whole Google Classroom thing that I
Me
didn't even
too.
know. Like,
Oh,
it's
you
ready to go. But, yeah, and then my younger son said he would help me. He's like, oh, you can do it, we'll do an experiment, Mom. You'll invite me, and I'll go on.
That's
and
cool.
I know
Yeah,
I'll say,
these are all my to-do lists too, because I'm like, I really want to put all the classes online, right? Because it's better for the students too. They can go grab their assignments and stuff. Okay, so we'll work on that.
that would be really,
Wouldn't it be awesome?
that's one of my big stressors. And, like, you're in charge of the class. I'm not even in charge of the class, but I get all, like, I don't feel like I have good visibility, and then I'm like, then how do the students know what they're missing and not missing, and,
Yeah.
but they can go onto the portal.
They can
I
go
guess,
onto the
and
portal.
I haven't ever seen it. I need to sit with the student, like, show me your portal.
Yeah. And then next week when I set up the grade book for the following 6 weeks, then you'll see how to set up a new assignment and stuff like that. It's not hard, but it's good. It's better to do it step by step because it's it's really confusing at first. It can be overwhelming when you're like, what? Like I have to do 25 different things to get this set up.
All right.
So, let's see. Use of interactive technologies. Well, yeah, they're using the Chromebooks really well. Google
And
Docs
I
is
think
working
it's
well.
actually good that I'm making them type it. Like, some of them don't like that, but I just think, it's not gonna be a handwritten that you're gonna turn into a university or even anywhere, like if you're gonna apply for a job. So, and I think I'm gonna bring in a little zip drive to give to Adriana because she's so, like, the girl doesn't even have a cell phone. I don't even know if that works with the Chromebook.
What is it again?
The zip drive?
We have to check.
Okay, yeah, I know.
Yeah, I need to figure out that girl's financial status because that was disturbing to me.
Yeah. No computer, no cell phone. She has a son, I know that.
Well,
Sure,
no
really
computer
nice.
I get, but no cell phone. I have yet to meet many students without a cell phone.
I know.
So yeah, I have an extra cell phone
Do
at
you know
home.
what her living situation is?
No.
Yeah, not either. She's super
I
driven
should.
now, man. She's
Mhm.
driven.
She's very driven, so yeah.
She's just like, I'm getting straight A's. And then she put it in her paper, I will get straight A's.
Oh, she bugs the crap out of me
I know.
every day.
We should just ask her what so-and-so's missing. What's the list of the
We
assignments?
should just have her
she's-
teach. Shit, Adriana. Every 5 minutes, Miss P. Did my grade go down? I'm like,
What's my grade?
no.
Is everything in? Do you have everything?
I just joke with her. I'm like, I'm gonna fail you just for fun. See what happens to you. Like your world's gonna fall apart. Yeah, I gave her like an 8 out of 10 on her writing assignment. She's like, can I redo this so I can get a 10 out of 10? And I was like, you just chill.
Her writing needs help. So
Yeah.
I looked at her paper and we're gonna
All
chat.
all their writing. It's difficult.
Yeah,
to
even
teach English.
even Kate's. It's good. I mean, it's probably the best in. Well, I don't know if it's the best in the class. There's a couple, but I mean, it's just full of cliches. So I'm gonna have the cliche talk with her about how you're gonna. One in the paper's okay, but you got 7, 8, 9. But other than that, I mean, I'm gonna do it in a really nice way though. Like the content is good. We just need to clean it up a little.
Yeah.
What she says is really good.
I know. When to me, it's like the hardest thing is when you get an essay and you're like, oh my.
Where do I start?
Yeah, like what do I do with this now? And it's like bam, like instant teacher ideas for like a year. Okay, I have to go back and teach them how to use periods.
I know.
Do we really have to do this?
Oh yes, we do.
How about, all right, they don't know how to spell. Why aren't they spell checking?
Yeah.
I can't teach spell, you know what I mean? It's just, yeah, I know what you're going through, and I am sorry, but it will never go away.
Well, you know what's funny is I'm like, okay, I'm going to take Umberto because I thought I remembered Kate's writing really good, so I'm like, I'm going to give her cake because that'll be easier. And I'll take his. It was not, hers was harder to grade. First of all, it was way longer. And then just some of the, I don't know, it's more of a mess. His was actually
Yeah, he's a decent writer.
really good. Like
yeah.
he put, you know, like to whom it may concern. I forget what the first two sentences were. And I was like, no. And I said, do you know why? Because it's already concerning them. So we don't need to say that on this. There's times when you'll use that, but this is
Kinda
not
cute
that
that
time.
he's
It's
using that
adorable.
formal
His
language.
paper was adorable.
Yeah. No, he's a good writer. He got an A+, 10 out of 10 on that, the nature writing assignment. He did a gorgeous job. He used such descriptive language. I was super impressed. Really, really gorgeous. It's interesting that his attitude is kind of weird.
He's quiet. I
Now
don't
he
really
is.
know. Oh, okay. Yeah, oh, because that's the kid that got kicked out of your PE class, right?
Oh, yeah.
I keep waiting for him to just erupt. You know, he got the,
handled it in a different class. So now
Johnny did,
he's scared.
were you at the door when Johnny handed me the paper and said, I'm almost certain I already did this, but I just did it again for you.
So that worked because he got kicked out for using his cell phone, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Being strict in a really smart way is so effective. So if you could still be fun, but they need a few things. Really rigorous curriculum has to be there. They have to be challenged, and then really high expectations for schoolwork and behavior. Behavior, like when they have time to talk, it's cool. But like when you're speaking, they should really be quiet. They should really be quiet and respect. And if you see any issues like that with students, like you did today, which was awesome, when you're like, yeah, I called Bernie because he should not be on his phone, and I told him already once. Perfect. And this was non-confrontational because Bernie just came in.
Oh yeah, it was great. When I can look at the phone and see, I'm sitting right there, and see that I've just said put it away, and he's like, yeah, okay. Like,
Oh, hell no.
all you have to do is lie your ass off and say, this, I need to take this, Mrs. Moore, this is whatever. I would have been like, that's fine. I wouldn't have even done anything. But
Right,
the fact
but
that
it
he
was just
ignored me,
passive, aggressive,
and then,
yeah.
no.
That whole table needs an attitude readjustment.
They do.
I'll have a discussion with Alan for his 35% in that class.
Mm.
That's insane. Yeah, so that was fabulous, and it gets the point across, and it's people see it around.
Right.
What's going, even though it's not public, right?
No,
'Cause
yeah,
you should never
notice.
punish anybody publicly, right? But they know, people know, they catch on, and so they know, like, when they walk through the door, you can't get away with shit in this class, because, like, these two teachers will not put up with it. That's the vibe that you want, because, you know, that's just, it's good classroom management.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have that, that's half, you know, if you can't manage a class, you're not going to be able to do any teaching.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's going to listen. They're not going to be inspired. They're not, you know, and part of it is they see that you care when you do that.
Yeah.
That's important to them.
Mm-hmm.
They're also used to being babysat by teachers. So I've heard, you know, you can, and actually the best way to learn about this is just to talk to them. Hey, you guys, can you tell me stories about some of your favorite teachers? Or can you tell me stories about what went wrong? Why didn't you like some of these teachers from high school? They'll be so brutally honest.
Yeah.
And you get really good feedback like that. That's how I learned a ton. So I'm like, all right, like, oh, and I would ask, okay, here's another thing to think about next week, actually. After every grading, at the end of every grading period, I give the students an evaluation for me. They do it anonymously, but it's required. And I tell them, like, you do not have to put your name on this. Like, you do not have, because I want you to be honest. I really want you to be honest. So I have a form that I developed. Actually, I stole from the internet somewhere. But then I have another one that I developed. But what I found has been the best is I tell them, you guys, can you please write down what you liked about this course, what you didn't like about this course, things that worked for you, things that did not work for you, lessons you loved, lessons you did not like. I was like, please be really honest, because I need to keep adjusting class in order to fit your guys' needs and stuff. You know, they give good feedback. They are really honest in these evaluations. They're really sweet. Some of them are funny. Anytime you, but warning, anytime you tell them they don't have to put their name on something, be ready for some fun responses, let me tell you. You'll get hit on. They'll make insane jokes. Like, it's you know, can't get away from that when it's anonymous, but just that's another thing to think about. But that is it's gonna be really helpful for you. And then so some sort of evaluation for yourself by them.
Okay.
Just for you to keep and look at and go, oh my God, like that's what they think of me? It's mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing, especially with this crowd, because they're really honest. So a lot of them will be really cool and list certain specific things. A lot of them will list like behavioral things, you know. And what you want to look for is what's popping up the most. If someone's telling you that you're too nice, you know, 20 out of 30 students in these surveys or feedback forms, then you got to go, okay, wait a minute. Like, there's something I may be doing not so great if they're telling me I'm being
taken advantage of.
Right. So, and I got, that's the feedback I got early on in these evaluation forums. Students were like, yeah, Miss P, like, you're too nice. Like, you let people get away with way too much. Or you're letting students talk too much while we're working and stuff. So when I got that repeatedly, I was like, all right, it's time for me to check myself. So I adjusted my, you know, teaching to be, I was a little bit more strict and whatnot. So it's a good way to like fine tune, figure out like in a, you know, whole entire way what works best for them and you. It's really cool. I recommend it.
Okay.
It's fun too. And you could always do that. You could do that like in whenever in a greeting period, just to be like.
Yeah, well, we did it last week with the survey of the one lesson. What was the lesson?
You still on camera?
Yeah.
Oh,
We're chatty.
on camera?
Yeah, we don't really care. That's Bernie. You're gonna see his. There, that's Bernie.
Crazy
You
security.
guys have a great weekend, okay?
What'd you do to Johnny?
Me too.
I'm sorry?
What'd you do to Johnny?
Johnny.
Sanchez,
Johnny.
get the phone.